Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This is a reaction to 4 ways British and American breakfast cereal is very different. And I don't know if there's going to be differences in the actual food or in the sort of the packaging, because I feel like we have the same cereals a lot of the time, but the packaging will just be different. And it's probably from the same brand. Like Kellogg's will just do an American, or for the US, it will do its own Cocoa Pops, and then the UK its own Cocoa Pops, or whatever. Like the packaging and the naming is always a bit different because it's just, I guess, matches whatever the country prefers for the name or something like that. Or maybe it's going to actually show the differences in the cereal, because I mean, I think the US cereals definitely go more over the top. Is that the right word? Like, is it Fruit Loops? Like colourful, just fruit flavoured cereal, I guess. I've never had them before. I mean, I've seen you can get like Reese's Pieces cereals, but I don't know if those are cereals that people will have, or if they're rare cereals in the US as well. I assume they're quite rare as well. Like, people aren't just going to get them unless they're going to like try and treat themselves or whatever. Because there's cereals here that I wouldn't get often, but occasionally treat yourself, you'd just have it, and you wouldn't really have it as a cereal either. You'd probably have it more as a pudding or just like a snack, but not necessarily in the morning and stuff like that. But yeah, we're going to see, because I mean, in the thumbnail, I think it's the same cereals with like different packaging. But yeah, let's just see the differences. And if it is the same cereals with just different names, why is that? Why do they change the naming and all that sort of stuff? Because you got Rice Krispies, you've got Cocoa Pops, Crunchy Nut Corn Flakes, Frosted Flakes, like all these like names of cereals that I'm assuming you have in the US, but I feel like the names are always different. But yeah, we're going to see, hopefully going to enjoy, and links are in the description to my Patreon if you want to see some more of my reactions. But let's just see the differences in cereals. And also, let me just see, I've always wondered this. Where was Crave created? Is Crave cereal in America? Crave cereal was made in the US. I used to love Crave. I used to absolutely love Crave. It was introduced in the United States in 2012. Is this a popular cereal in the US? Because I mean, I don't have it now, but this was like when I first found out about Crave. This one here. It's Kellogg's again. Kellogg's they just own the cereal market. These red ones and these purple ones, but I think the red ones were nicer. For a point of time, I loved them, but they used to always scratch my mouth open, like, because they're so like tough. Used to scratch my mouth. But yeah, we're going to check this out and see, and yeah, hopefully going to enjoy and check this out.
A year later, it was, and Kellogg's learned a very valuable lesson. We, the British, will moan you under the table and then moan about the table. Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to cereal. Given that Britain and America are divided by an unfathomably large ocean, it's inevitable that there will be differences between our food brands, and cereal is no exception. Just a cursory glance at the shopping aisles of both countries will highlight perhaps hundreds of such memos. Now, I could spend this video talking about all of the wacky cereals that I never experienced until I moved to America, and to some extent I will, but chiefly this is a video all about same or similar brands that are marketed differently on either side of the pond. And so without further ado, here are 4 ways that British and American cereal is very different.
A taste of honey. Is that, I'm going to compare that to Crunchy Nut, what's it called? Crunchy Nut Corn Flakes, which is the honey nutty one here.
Honey Smacks. Honey Smacks is a Kellogg's cereal that I only encountered after moving to the United States, but there are several...
I don't even know this one in the UK. I never had these ones before.
Several things worth noting. Firstly, Kellogg's, a multinational company that was founded in Battle Creek, Michigan more than a century ago, is very much as prevalent and influential in the UK as it is in the United States. But this sweet and puffed wheat breakfast cereal was first introduced to the American market in the early 1950s. Initially, it went by the name of Sugar Smacks, but was changed in the 1980s to Honey Smacks, presumably because the image of kids' teeth falling out was bad for optics. Also in the 1950s, the UK launched a rather close equivalent, Sugar Puffs.
Oh, I have had these a few times, but the thing is, these are like, they're really like, they taste quite burnt. I like them, but I always notice the taste is like, there's like a burn taste to them. It's not like it makes them taste bad overall, but it's just like a little burn sensation. Sensation taste. Like, but it doesn't taste a lot. You just get it, and I'm like, okay, this is weird, but I kind of like it. I don't know. I never had them often, but
a popular cereal to this very day. It was introduced by the British arm of another American company, Quaker Oats, in 1957, only for the company Big Bear Limited to acquire the company in 2006. And beside the obvious similarities between the edible product inside both boxes, Honey Smacks and Sugar Puffs have two other key things in common. Firstly, like Honey Smacks, the Sugar Puffs brand no longer contains the word sugar, having transitioned to Honey Monster Puffs in 2014. Now, to be fair, this was a reasonable move. I mean, I wouldn't want to be held responsible for the state of British teeth either. And
bro, you look at the sugar. I mean, I felt like most cereals are like this, right? But it's all 1 and then just 10 for sugars per serving, and the serving sizes are always so small. So you're having more than just 10% in your serving.
British teeth either. And secondly, both cereals incorporate some sort of colourful animal as their oh-so-lovable mascot. On the front of a box of Honey Smacks, you'll find Diggum Frog, while the Honey Monster has...
See, Honey Monster makes it... I feel like Honey Monster's more... Like, it fits more. A frog with this doesn't really make sense. Doesn't really matter. But... And look at them. Look at them showing all the positives. Low in salt, source of fibre... God, they love just trying to make it sound as healthy as possible. Come on, we know it's not healthy, man.
Has long been the face of the UK equivalent, and it can't be emphasised enough that both are missing one very pertinent facial feature: teeth. Who said that subliminal advertising was dead? And speaking of mascots, that brings us on to this.
Flake, rattle and roll.
It's official, the Kellogg Company has been systematically colonising the world's breakfast tables, one anthropomorphic animal at a time, but more on that in a moment. You see, there's one popular cereal whose mascot remains the same on either side of the pond, even if the cereal's name does not. I'm talking about what America...
Yeah, the goat. The goat. So they're called Frosted Flakes in the US. I was calling them Frosted Flakes. I can't remember what they're called. Frosties. They're called Frosties?
Americans refer to as Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Launched in the US in...
Good source of vitamin D. God damn it. It drives you crazy when you see this stuff. Look, I love these cereals, but come on. This is not a good source of vitamin D, man.
1952 as Sugar Frosted Flakes. These sugar-coated cornflakes once again dropped the word sugar in the 80s. And here's a weird fact. In the United States, the term Frosted Flakes is legally considered so generic that it cannot be trademarked. This is why you'll often see other companies selling products under the same name. Wow. If only it had a catchy title similar to Cheerios or Shreddies, you know, like the UK does. You see, in the UK and most Commonwealth countries, the same exact product is known as Kellogg's
Frosties. Ah, okay. Whose box looks better? This one's got more going on for sure. The Kellogg sign is bigger. Oh no, it's not. The Kellogg sign is way smaller. The Kellogg sign is huge in this one. This one's a lot more bland, I can't lie. But yeah, this gives me my childhood. This is probably like... This gives me my childhood memories because this is probably my most eaten cereal. It's so basic, but it was good. Probably this. When I was a kid, it would be this. Crunchy Nut. I used to love Crunchy Nut. That sounds mad. That sounds mental. Cocoa Pops.
Now, even amid the name's evolution, there's one big cat who thinks they're great. I'm talking, of course, about my cat, who often likes to dip his paw in the milk, but also Tony the Tiger, who's recognised on both sides of the pond. And for somebody who identifies as a mammal well known for their large fangs, he too doesn't have any teeth. Now, I don't want to point fingers, but are we absolutely sure that Kellogg's isn't testing their products on 2D animals? Well, here's an idea. Let's ask Toucan Sam.
Tutti Frutti. We do not have Tutti Frutti here, do we?
Of course, there are some Kellogg's products that bear the same name in both Britain and America. For example, Bran Flakes, Corn Flakes, Special K, and Fruit Loops.
We don't have Fruit Loops here.
And despite the fact that Fruit Loops sound more like a half-open packet of hard candy that you found down the back of the sofa after a long and particularly warm summer, they are in fact a breakfast cereal eaten by actual humans and children. But in Britain and America, the major difference is not the words on the box.
It's the actual cereal? Because we have Cheerios.
But its contents. In America, since the 90s, a standard box contains crunchy loops of 6 different colours: red, orange, yellow, green, blue and purple. However, in the United Kingdom, owing to a lack of natural colourings, yellow, red and blue loops are omitted. Now, America, before you start calling the British Embassy, just know that our loops are bigger, so crisis averted. Or exacerbated. Of course, in both countries, Fruit Loops wouldn't be Fruit Loops without the appearance of yet another animal, Toucan Sam. And the first thing you'll notice about Toucan Sam is that he too is dentally compromised. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Lawrence, give Kellogg's a break. After all, actual toucans don't have teeth. And that's true, but they also don't have opposable thumbs, but that never stopped Kellogg's. Now, of particular interest to this channel is the bird's voice. On his first televised appearance, he spoke with a decidedly American accent that sounded suspiciously like Mel Blanc because he was voiced by Mel Blanc. Over time, though, he inexplicably and very pretentiously adopted a British accent, presumably after befriending the Geico gecko, who experienced a similarly baffling transformation. And speaking of transformation, this next cereal has experienced plenty.
Shimmy Shimmy Cocoa Pops. Don't say they're called Shimmy Shimmy in the US. I've also just got to see, because this was my number one. I remembered Weetos. Are Weetos in the US? Weetos cereal. Oh my god, I love these. I love these. These made the milk so chocolatey. Oh my, I can't explain how chocolatey they made it. So it's this one. It's made from Weetabix. Is Weetabix in the US? Okay, I don't know. Weetos in... No. Weetos USA. Is there such thing? Weetos are so they're from the UK, so they're probably not going to be in the US. Oh, Weetos a healthy cereal? They are not healthy. They are not healthy. No chance. Wait up. Because I'm getting excited because these were my favourite cereal, man. Most popular with customers in the United States of America, Poland, and Netherlands. Wait, you can't buy Weetos in the US? What? That makes me happy if you can. That makes me so... No, markets. United Kingdom, Republic of Ireland, Scandinavia, Finland. Bro, I love these cereals. Like, the best thing... You know how Cocoa Pops make the cereal milky? I feel like this done it even better. Weetos was so good, man.
As a child with a sweet tooth, I was always a bit of a stickler for cereal that turned the milk brown. For me, none achieved this more supremely than Kellogg's Cocoa Pops. For the
Weetos
uninitiated,
better.
Cocoa Pops are basically a cocoa-based version of Rice Krispies. But after moving to America, I quickly discovered that this was not the case the world over. In the United States, where the cereal was first launched in 1958, the same product is called Cocoa Crispies. Okay, fine, so they...
Really? Cocoa Crispies? I guess it makes sense because they are called Rice Krispies, Cocoa Crispies. In the UK, Cocoa Pops, but then they're not called Rice Pops, they're called Rice Krispies. It's weird.
Have different names, so what? Well, in my lifetime, both versions differed even more differently than they'd ever differed before. You see, in 2003, in an effort by Kellogg to unify both Cocoa and Rice Krispies, the US version was changed to Cocoa Rice Krispies, and I'm going to stop rolling my R's now. However, presumably because executives really missed the pleasing alliteration of the whole thing, it was changed back just 3 years later. But before all of this, a similar rebranding in the UK brought the entire country to a standstill. In February 1998, the British arm of Kellogg's changed the name from Cocoa Pops to Choco Crispies. And I remember it well. People were absolutely outraged. If Twitter had existed back then, hashtag Justice for Cocoa Pops would still be trending today. It got so bad that sales of the cereal absolutely plummeted. And a poll of over...
Fuck? People are mental. They're that protective over a goddamn name.
1 million people found that 92% of Brits wanted that name changed back to Cocoa Pops. A year later, it was, and Kellogg's learned a very valuable lesson. We, the British, will moan you under the table and then moan about the table. As for this particular cereal's mascots, they're quite different on either side.
The UK's is a monkey, right?
The pond. Throughout my lifetime, the animal on the box in Britain has been, and continues to be, Coco the monkey.
Yeah.
In fact, during the 90s, he also adorned the boxes of America's version. But today you'll find Snap, Crackle and Pop, the decidedly human faces of Rice Krispies. And you know, me being me, I couldn't let it slip by that both sets of mascots do in fact possess a complete array of pearly white teeth, suggesting two things. Number one, Kellogg's undeniably shows favoritism toward primates. And number two, these mascots have clearly never eaten Cocoa Pops. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below.
I never realised how infatuated I was going to be by cereals, man. But I am. It's like, it's your childhood in a nutshell, isn't it? Most popular cereal in the UK first, and then I'm going to do the US after. The 5 most popular cereals. This is just in general. I'm not a fan of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's not, I don't know, it doesn't hit the same for me. The brand with the highest reach among British cereal consumers is Kellogg Cornflakes. Really? It was the only brand that reached more than 6.7 million Brits. The next popular choice for breakfast cereal is Quaker Oats. So simple. I've never had that in my life. Sorry. Okay, that's a shock. Maybe I was just an unhealthy kid. According to the intel gathered by Wishlisted, Honey Nut Cheerios is America's favourite cereal, slightly sweeter than classic Cheerios, thanks to, well, honey. You do have Cheerios in the US. It's just different boxes. They're Kellogg's as well, aren't they? I think. I don't know. I think they are, but I don't know. Oh, Lucky Charms is what I was thinking of. God, you got so many different cereals. Crunchy Nut Cereal USA. Nut and Honey Crunch. So this is the UK one? Or is this the US one? Oh, now, so this is recent in the US or something. I have no idea, to be honest. I can't really differentiate which box it is. I think these are the US ones. This is the UK one. I don't even know. This is the UK one. You can tell because the Kellogg sign is bigger. This is the UK one now, but it changed. It wasn't like this all the time, but I love that cereal, man. I do love it. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. When I was a kid, I only wanted my parents to buy cereal so that I could get the toy prize inside. I never had that. I never had toys in my cereal. Then my father ended up being the one who had to eat the cereal after a few years of this. My parents learned they could write the cereal company and get the entire line of toy prizes for free. What the hell? Okay, hopefully you enjoyed this reaction. Let me know your favourite cereals growing up. And yeah, that's that. Until next time, subscribe.